Welcome back, students. Last session we have completed the chapter on New Awakening in India, where we have come across the various leaders who have influenced various like various people who have influenced the Indian nationalist struggle, and their works and their theories have given a new spirit to the idea of nationalism in India. The question answers I will be giving you, but let's continue with the rest of the portions of the syllabus till then, because you have a huge syllabus to cover. So, hence we start with the next chapter, chapter 12, Indian Nationalism. So now we enter into the nationalistic phase of India, where the people, like we will study in this chapter about the factors which has promoted this nationalism movement among like in India, among the people, and the various repressive policies of Lord Lytton. Who was Lord Lytton? He was the viceroy. And he governed India for quite a number of times, certain number of times, and we will also deal with the Ilbert Bill controversy and Indian National Congress, its formation and the objectives in due course. So earlier we have seen this, that the first war of independence, 1857, this happened, and this war of independence, this was a small revolt, but it gradually got spread into various portions of India in various states and provinces, and it took a form of a movement, and it infused the idea of nationalism among the Indians. So that sowed the seeds of independence among Indians. But now, how the nationalism grew and how the people moved towards independence, that's what we are going to study. The revolt of 1857 had been successfully suppressed by the company and the Britishers, and the various changes that took place after 1857 that we have come across. Now we will study, there were few other uprisings also, the Santhal uprisings in Bihar, and the revolts like the Kuka movement in Punjab. So these were very small movements in one specific area, but the movement which attracted people from all over India, and it united the people from all over India, did not take place till then. Those were successfully suppressed also. Now, factors promoting nationalism. What were the factors that promoted nationalism? First one is economic exploitation. So as we know, as we are dealing with this particular revolts among the Indians against the British, we can understand that they were economically exploited. So earlier the various settlements were being started, were being implemented among the like on the farmers, the weavers, and the economy was crushed. Like we have come across the permanent settlement, the Munro system, the Ratwari system. So all of this had been implemented in order to extract profit without thinking about the condition or without thinking about the improvement of the economy of the country. But the main motive was to earn profit at the cost of the farmers and the weavers and the other personals also. And so the economy was being drained. There was a drain of wealth. We have come across this term also, drain of wealth, by Dadabhai Naoroji. And there was the Indian industries, the cottage industries, the small scale industries, the production could not compete with the Western, the machine made goods and the other goods of the Western countries in the international market, which finally led to the destruction of the economy and the shutting down of the various industries in India, the various indigenous industries, and all of these factors together. So there was a drain of wealth, which the wealth was taken out from India gradually, which enriched the British economy. So this finally, or this gradually led to the economic exploitation, and the people started to realize, the people began to realize after this first war of independence and after the awakening which was done by the various social reformers. So they started to realize the economic hardships that they faced, and at the cost of whom and why they were facing. So they started getting united, and irrespective of the regional barriers, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, language, irrespective of all this, the spirit of nationalism has been infused among the Indians, and this was felt by the Indians who came together to fight against the British. So this was the economic expression. Next was impact of Western education and thought. So we have come across the fact that the Western education, Indians started the Western education, the Western form of education have been implemented on the Indians. The Indians started to get trained according to the Western mode of education. They started reading new languages, they started learning new things, they started understanding the economy, the social conditions of the Western countries. They started understanding and knowing various facts about the other countries all over the world. So all of this had the people started understanding, the intelligentsia or the middle class started understanding their condition, which was and why their condition was as such. And the various movements like the French Revolution, the all these movements have the, had had a great impact on the Indians. They started idealizing the values, the lessons that were being taught by those revolutions, which helped the Indians to realize their condition, and this brought them together, which infused the idea of nationalism among the Indians to fight against the British. So another thing was important in this was the language. Earlier there was regional barriers and linguistic barriers among the people, like the North Indians and the South Indians, the East and the West. They did not share the common language, so the mode of instruction was different in different communities. But now there was a mode of instruction which was same, that was English. So people started overcoming the barriers, the linguistic barriers or the barrier due to language, and they started uniting more as compared to before. So this helped in spreading the spirit of nationalism. Then the role of press and literature. So since the press and literature, people started having more emphasis on the press, on the freedom of press, on the literature, the literary works of various authors. So people started understanding the value of press and value of freedom of expression, value of the various literary works. So they started, the importance of press started growing, and people started understanding or knowing what is happening in the other parts of the world. So this gradually helped Indians to realize the exploitation that they were facing, and this also helped the people to unite themselves and improve their conditions by revolting against the British, and how much it is needed to become independent, they realized. So the various works of our important scholars and important personalities like Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, then Munshi Premchand, then Rabindranath Tagore, Keshav Chandra Sen, all of their important works, Aurobindo Ghosh, all of their important works helped the Indians to unite themselves and to protest against the British. So you have to remember the various important works of these poets and of these writers, which has been given over here. In text question might be there. Then transport and communication, as transport and communication which was introduced by the British, like the railways, the communication like the telegram, post office, all this were established. So this helped the people to unite themselves, to unite people with the this helped in gaining unity of the Indians, situated or living in the various parts of India. So this actually was a boon in disguise, like this was a blessing in disguise. Then racial discrimination, again another important thing which was being faced by Indian were the racial discrimination. Indians were being called as the black Indians, or since Indians mostly have the brown color of their skin, so they were being called the dark Indians. So they were being ill treated on the basis of their skin type and complexion. And this racial discrimination, which discriminated the whites and the blacks, which is somehow prevalent even now, but the intensity of it has reduced to a larger extent. But this racial discrimination policy of British was being looked down upon by the entire world, as well as by the Indians. So Indians were not allowed to the European clubs and hotels. They were not allowed to travel with the British in the same compartment. They were not allowed. They were discriminated on the basis of certain things, like on this particular racial discrimination, which angered the Indians, which also united the Indians against them to revolt against them. Then the socio-religious reform movements, the various reform movements that happened, like we have come across the Satya Sodhak Samaj, then we have come across the Arya Samaj, Brahmi Samaj. So all of them. Then we have also come across the one in the south, in Kerala, then Sri Narayan Guru, then the other people. So they all helped in the awakening of the people, and they also united the people to protest against the British, against the discrimination of the British. So then the various research works of the European Orientalist scholars like James Prinsep, William Jones also helped in having self-confidence of the Indians, developing self-confidence, and also developing the sense of pride among the Indians, which helped the Indians to realize the need of freedom or need of independence in India. Then we'll start with the repressive policies of Lord Lytton. So Lord Lytton, as I told you in the beginning of this session, that Lord Lytton was a viceroy, and he governed India from the period of within the period of 1876 to 1880. So within this period, he had enacted certain rules and laws and regulations which actually had angered the Indians, and this led to certain discontentment among the Indians, as well as this was criticized worldwide. So first one is the Vernacular Press Act. So Vernacular Press Act, which was passed this particular Vernacular Press Act was being passed in 1878. So you have to remember the year also. So this, according to this act, the vernacular magazines, newspapers, journals, any publishing like the publishing agencies which are in vernacular languages. Vernacular means other than English, the rest of the languages. So the rest of the Indian languages. So nothing anti-British can be published in the journals and the literary works in vernacular languages according to this act. So this Vernacular Press Act has been enacted by Lord Lytton, which created a lot of hue and cry among the people. Then the Arms Act. So Arms Act was also passed in 1878, and which widened the racial discrimination against between the Indians and the Europeans. So this act made it criminal offense for the Indians to keep arms without a license, but the Britishers or the Europeans could keep arms with them without a license. So this widened the racial discriminations between the Indians and the Britishers. So we will hereby stop. The rest of the two important acts, the Regulating Act and the Royal Darbar, will be dealing with in the next class, along with the rest of the part of the chapter, which includes the formation of Congress and also the early political associations, which also will be dealing with the Ilbert Bill controversy. So that will be all. We'll be dealing with the rest of the part of the chapter in the next session. Go through the chapter and let me know if you have any doubts. Thank you.